Clint Cosgrove, Rivals national recruiting analyst, here with Sean Callahan, the publisher of HuskerOnline, Rivals.com, Nebraska's site. Great to have you on. Excited to talk about the 2022 class that Nebraska has signed and is looking to sign as we go into the late signing period. Thanks for coming on, Sean.
Hey, it's great to catch up with you, Clint. Obviously, we've known each other a long time, and it's great to connect here on live chat.
No question. We definitely have a history, and it's exciting to be in this setting and talk. And I'm just excited to hear your opinion on, first off, just your overall thoughts on this 2022 class. How does it stack up to the recent classes that Nebraska has had? And what are your thoughts from top to bottom?
Yeah, it's a very unique class, Clint, because Nebraska's numbers were always going to be crunched this year, like everybody's, because of the COVID year and not really knowing where you're at. So Nebraska went into it really thinking that they were only going to take like 13 to 15, what you would call traditional recruits. They're at 16 right now. A couple of those guys might have to walk on a semester, then go on after. They're trying to get creative. But a big chunk of this class is transfer portal. And I think what really jumps out to me already is 16 different newcomers are on campus right now for Nebraska going through spring ball. That is the most ever. They had 14 a year ago, and a lot of that was due to the COVID year. So 16 newcomers here, and they're really trying to shake it up. I almost consider the portal guys as part of the class. You get Casey Thompson and Chuba Purdy. They already had Richard Torres. So there's 3 new quarterbacks on scholarship they've added. I don't know if there's another Power 5 program in the country that could say that.
No question. And when you're in a position like they are, I feel like Nebraska is right on the edge of being there. In a lot of tight games, they're very close to turning the whole thing around. And I think they address needs by, going out and signing players like that. And transfer portal has been, you see with like Michigan State, you can turn the program around fast by doing that. And so, kudos to the staff for going out and identifying what they need and grabbing guys like that. Now, as far as, needs that were addressed, what do you think are, the biggest accomplishments in this class as far as needs addressed? And then what are we still looking for to close out this class?
Well, receiver was big. They got 4 receivers when you count the portal. Trey Palmer, a 5-star from LSU. But then, they got 2 really good high school receivers, Victor Jones and Nicholas Crawford. Obviously, I mentioned quarterback, getting the 3 quarterbacks. They have 2 running backs they've added now, Anthony Grant and Emmett Johnson, to their traditional class number. A.J. Allen, a high 3-star recruit out of Louisiana, is visiting this weekend. So there's a chance they could add 3 running backs as well. There's a lot of those position groups that jump out. I would say the one area they've missed on, Clint, is offensive line. They just don't have any quality bodies that can make an impact. They've signed 1 high school offensive lineman, and that was kind of their goal, was to get one, Justin Jenkins. He's listed as a D lineman on Rivals, but he'll come in as a center. But they really would have liked to have gotten, a Big Ten quality body that could start immediately, as would every team, though, in college football. So I think offensive line is probably where they've maybe struck out, particularly in the portal.
Okay. Is there still a chance that they could find a big time offensive lineman out there, whether it be from JUCO, transfer portal? Do you see that happening? Is there a chance at that?
I would say maybe after the spring. Classes started this week. So you do have until Tuesday to get a guy here. You have 5 class days to get somebody on campus, but it's really late for portal movement. Maybe May, maybe June, when there's another kind of turn of rosters, that's when you could see something like this happen. That was an area where I think if they could have gotten, one guy, they wanted the Shorts kid out of East Tennessee that ended up going to LSU. That was somebody that was supposed to come in, ended up getting his dream offer from LSU, got the green light to commit. And what did Brian Kelly get? I mean, how many transfer portals guys has LSU added? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. You don't think of LSU being a team that needs to go to the transfer portal, to get a lot of kids because they have so much young and, yeah, I mean, just a lot of talent in their young classes. But at the same time, I understand they have the the pressure to win right away, as a lot of these big time programs do. So outside of the offensive line, are there any other prospects, JUCO, transfer portal, or high school, that Nebraska could still be in on that could, make a difference in this class?
As of today, AJ Allen is the only real known name that they're on. I mean, they're on Mathis, the TCU edge rusher that's in the portal, but a lot of people are. I don't think they're going to get him. So AJ Allen is probably today, and as we know, it's always very fluid. Things change quickly with the transfer portal. So we'll see where it goes, but they're getting really, really tight on numbers. They will have some numbers, but it's getting very, very tight where, if you're going to use one of them, it's got to be for obviously the right guy.
Yeah, special player or, obviously top position of need. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, there are, I mean, as far as college football goes, classes are smaller this year. But, they've signed, what are they at, 16 kids or 16 total commitments? I think 14 have signed already. You had a couple JUCO additions recently.
Right.
But what would you say, who's the guy in this class that could be the sleeper, the guy that they're not talking about, but in a few years could be a program changer or a big name guy that could help Nebraska get back to where they want to be?
Yeah, you can go a lot of different directions with it. I'm really, like a guy that's going to, I think, play and do stuff for Nebraska. I'm not going to say he's a program changer, but I think Gage Stenger out of Millard South in Omaha is set up to be a good player in this program. And he's a quintessential in-state guy that plays multiple sports. I mean, I watched this guy play basketball, and he's guarding Hunter Salas, a 5-star player last year in the state tournament. He's a competitor and played quarterback, but he'll play linebacker probably at Nebraska, maybe strong safety. So that's a guy to watch. A lot of guys in the secondary they've added. I think the easy one to go with is Jaden Gold from Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. He's the highest ranked high school recruit in the class. I think he's set up to be in a position to play immediately. Javier Morton has been a real bonus at former Alabama recruit, was at Garden City Community College. He's in now. He got to school this week. So that was kind of a late bonus addition they brought to the program.
Yeah, no, he's a kid with, great size, length, athleticism, ability to be a difference maker. I think I thought that was a big pickup for the staff and, the team as a whole. As far as I'm not familiar with all of the guys that you guys have signed, but the guys I am familiar with, especially being in Chicago, is, Jaleel Martin. To me, he is a kid with a ton of upside. I don't know if you've seen him in person. You probably did when he was down there on a visit, right?
Yeah, and he's got a lot of great length.
Yeah, his frame's incredible. And, he kind of flew under the radar because originally he was seen as a receiver recruit. He ended up with a club on his arm during the senior season, kind of missed out on junior year because of the COVID year. But he is a kid that has a great frame, ton of length. And I think he is a kid that can really be a difference maker eventually. Mentality wise, ability wise, he can cover like a corner, but he's got the frame to grow into kind of that hybrid type outside linebacker, nickel, safety that you're seeing a lot in college football with the way offenses are today. So for me, he's a big one. He's obviously the one I'm most familiar with because I've covered him since freshman year. But I see a couple kids in this class that could make a difference. Chase Androff, I'm pretty familiar with from his time in Minnesota. But I do think with limited numbers and having to look to the transfer portal, JUCOs for instant impact players, overall, I think they did a pretty good job with the class. But just closing thoughts, anything that you think about the 2022 class, what to look forward to in the 23 and Nebraska football next year?
Yeah, first of all, I think, Clint, you're going to just see almost like two separate recruiting seasons now every year. And right now in January, we're in the start of the traditional season. So from January to maybe August, you're going to get kind of a bulk of your traditional high school guys done. And that's what's going on right now. No one's really 2022ing anymore. They're starting to
Yep.
look at the 2023s, the 2024s. Nebraska, Bill Bush, a guy we both know real well, has been down in Kansas
Oh, yeah.
City, and he's been down in Wichita and in the area. And they've been in Texas and Florida with other coaches this week, trying to get on those 2023s. But then I think when seasons come to a close, you're going to be kind of in the second season of recruiting. And that's basically going to be from, the beginning of December until really the first day of classes in January. And that's portal season. And portal season is wild. And I think it's so
Oh, yeah.
different than what any of us grew up around with the covering recruiting. And I've been doing this a really long time. And, I there's been a lot of years you work hard, but I think covering recruiting out of the portal adds a whole nother level of work to get inside information of what's going on and where guys are going. It's wild what we've seen this year. And I think this is what it's going to be like every year going forward. Quickly on Nebraska going into next year, a lot of things jump out. Obviously, Scott Frost got the 5th year. That was debatable by a lot of people based on kind of what happened in 2021. But they've got a great schedule. I think you got to start there. If they can beat Northwestern in Dublin, Ireland on week 0, they play Georgia Southern and North Dakota weeks 2 and 3 before they have that game against Oklahoma. But really, their first 9 games, I'm not saying they're going to win them all, but it's a favorable opening 9. Really, Oklahoma is the only team in those 9 opponents that would recruit what you would consider elite 4 and 5-star guys. So they've got a schedule that gives them a chance. Can Scott Frost bring this thing across the line? 5 new coaches out of 10 on the staff. All but one offensive coach is brand new next year. So a lot of intrigue of what this Husker team is going to look like in 2022.
No question. My biggest question from that: will you be in Dublin for
Yes.
that big game?
So I've already been there. They brought me out in December. What we're actually working as a kind of a partner with Huskers2Ireland.com, who's in charge of the game with the Aer Lingus Classic. So I went out there already, got to check out Port Marmot Golf Course and Dublin and Guinness and Jameson, did everything out there. And obviously I'll be going back in August, assuming everything gets off the ground. And I think people are optimistic. Obviously right now, the whole country is in kind of a terrible spot with COVID. So you're not really
Yeah.
thinking about Ireland yet. But I do believe they think this game's going to happen out there, and they're excited to have Nebraska Northwestern on week 0.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be a plenty of fans from both fan bases out there. Anybody who has been to Ireland knows that is a great time, and it'll be a special atmosphere for that game. Sean, I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about the Husker recruiting class, the future of Husker football, and it's great catching up with you, man. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
anytime, Clint. I appreciate it, man.